We're about to hear Karey's story. I invite you all to take off your shoes if you feel comfortable. It will be a stinky room, but my reasoning is that Karey's story is a story of God's redeeming power, and that is holy ground.
Being born bipolar, I was a good kid. I was a really good kid until I turned about 13 years old. And that's when the violence sprung up in me. I started hitting my mother, failing school, using drugs. My husband had killed a man and went to prison, and I supported him while he was in prison. And when he got out and was in the halfway house, he filed for a divorce, and that spun me off into smoking crack cocaine. My son went to school and told the school that I was using drugs, and they removed my son from the home. It was then that I spun out of control, buying crack cocaine and not paying my bills, and then I was thrown to the streets. I was evicted from the apartment. I had a boyfriend who was bipolar and schizoaffective and had multi-personalities like me. And he got it in his mind that I had cheated on him, and he wanted revenge. So he got this girl to put some Visine in my coffee, and I drank it. And then I fell out, and they put me in the vehicle. They decided to drive me back to the spot where they picked me up at and throw me out of the car. As soon as the ambulance grabbed my arm, I envisioned Jesus grabbing my arm, and I told him before he grabbed my arm, I said, "All my friends have betrayed me, and I know I'm going to die." And he grabbed my arm, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he shook his head no. And then he walked me back to the light. Afterward, I couldn't forget his face and how he shook his head no to my death. It was then that I decided that I wasn't going to use drugs anymore. Bex Drake, she was a huge influence on me. We met at the art studio, and Bex introduced me to Esther House and got me in Esther House for the first time. She said, "No matter how bleak your situation looks, no matter how hard it gets, sit there and wait on God." I just waited until he solved my situation. Number one, he got me through my program. Number two, he got me a job. 3, he got me to my graduation. 4, he got me a place to live. And 5, he has kept me sober now for 7 years. It took me a long time to graduate. It took me 2 years and 6 months. I had already been in Esther House 3 times. I felt like I worked hard in the program, and I felt like I waited a long time to graduate, and I felt like my esteem was the highest it has ever been graduating. I felt great. I see myself as valuable, sober. I see myself as Karey Townsend, valuable Karey Townsend.